So that was a mini lesson. Here are my suggestions for a follow-up activity to get kids using this language. This could either be a speaking activity that they record if they're in remote learning, or it could be a writing activity where they include pictures and maybe even their own slides to a PowerPoint or a Google Slides that they later present to the class in the speaking. So the question would be, ¿qué más te gusta ahora y qué más te gustaba de niño o niña? And I like to write directions as steps instead of short paragraphs because I feel like it ensures that kids pick up where they left off. Helpful tip that I learned from Ariana when I taught her EPH lessons last year. So paso número uno, we're going to have them open Flipgrid. Paso número dos, look at the instructions for the activity called Mi Vida. Las actividades de mi vida is what I would entitle it, but feel free to entitle it something else. Paso número tres, escribe una lista de actividades que te gusta o no te gusta. Una lista de 4 actividades que te gusta o no te gusta ahora. That should be included there in paso 3. Paso 4, escribe una lista de 4 actividades que te gustaba o no te gustaba de niño o niña. Paso número 5, pon unas fotos que representan las actividades en su presentación. Y número 6, graba una presentación de 30 segundos hablando de antes y ahora. And being that all of these commands are in the informal, I'm actually going to change this su to a tu to keep it consistent with everything else that's written informally. Alrighty, and so kids will go and they'll do that. I would say between planning this and inserting some of the pictures on their Flipgrid screen, which allows you to do so the pictures are floating around the person while they're speaking, I would give this a good 15-20 minutes. And so if the mini lesson itself was about 15 minutes, 15-16 minutes, depending on whether or not that beginning presentation that I did talking to teachers is included. This should take another 15 to 20 minutes. And then students can turn it in. And you can take volunteers who would like to share their video first. And you can put it on the screen and make an extension activity where students write in their peer deck what they learned about that individual ahora y de niño o niña. So yeah, this can easily be scaled down or scaled up to your class time. Teacher tips for teaching a new verb tense without focusing on the grammar. So when I put this together, these were the steps I took in my thought process. One, I wanted to build from a basic concept that students already have mastered. In this case, it was me gusta. And the word ahora was the key phrase that really put it in the context of now. Then I decided to juxtapose me gusta in its present tense form with me gustaba in its imperfect form. So that kids can see the difference. If you remember during the slideshow, at different points you could see in writing me gusta, me gustaba, and I even color coded them for emphasis. And at one point I think I even underlined me gustaba because it's new. Step number 3, I used pictures. So at no point did I try to explain anything in English. I just used pictures of myself, which interest your kids if you want to swap out your own, and short recognizable phrases, words, again the ahora and de niño niña. I didn't say cuando era pequeña and I didn't throw in a bunch of new verbs or anything like that. I just focused on the me gustaba and I kept the phrase really simple, de niño, de niña. And I contextualized both tenses. So at the beginning of that slideshow, I showed a calendar that represented 2021. And then I showed a picture of the 80s to show like this was the past, along with my baby picture. And then I started to tell a story, and in each section I included those same pictures, same color coordinated effort to contextualize the story to now and then. Now and then. There was a check for understanding. First, all I wanted the kids to do was answer yes, no, me gusta, no me gusta, me gustaba, no me gustaba, work that up to short phrases, have them type up the short phrases, me gusta, me gustaba. And at that point, you might have noticed that I took those phrases away from some of the slides so that kids could focus on actually writing those phrases. They even got practice with just answering with ahora or de niño, de niña. And so making sure that they're able to retype these, hear them, say them, was key. The repetition is key when learning something new. And then finally, I came up with an activity where I gave the students an opportunity to do the exact same thing but for themselves, picking their own activities, using the ahora me gusta, de niño, niña, me gustaba, in their own speaking activity, which builds engagement and excitement and really lowers the affective filter, in my opinion, because, they just did something completely new with something they were already kind of familiar with. And so it's less overwhelming than showing them all the AR verbs and the imperfect and all the ER verbs and the imperfect, all the IR verbs and the imperfect, just front loading everything. And this way, kids can really start to use it right away. I feel like because they're using it in so many different modes of communication, they'll remember it more easily. And any students who were absent, they didn't miss all of the conjugations of the imperfect tense. They just missed one small section, and they can pick up in the next class when you do some more words and spiral back to me gustaba and me gusta, and sort of like get back in the swing of things. So I hope you liked this PD. I hope you liked it. I was just sitting here thinking about, how do we support teachers and broaching a new topic, a new grammar, tense with students. And I thought this was a fun way of doing so. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you find this helpful. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm one email, one Teams message away. Take care, guys.